treat? For a treat?
Yeah, let's do it.
Okay, so she set us up with 3 bikes. We got these for the weekend, right?
Yes, got these
Seriously?
for the weekend.
Yeah, I figured Breaking Bad tour today.
Okay.
Let's do Taos tomorrow.
Okay.
You guys up for a nice long ride? You good?
Yeah, for sure.
All right. So that's a wrap, guys. Tomorrow is a big one.
You guys
get some rest.
Thank you.
Absolutely.
For enduring and checking off something on my list. So yesterday we went to all the Breaking Bad spots, which was really eye-opening. I had no idea so much of it was filmed here. So that was really fun. I'm really stoked to just be able to ride around town with my friends, be on the bikes. I mean, there's nothing better, right? And then, since we had the Indian bikes all weekend, we decided to head up to Taos.
So Tyson had been totally stoked about going up and showing Cristin and I this antique place. I've seen it for years driving past it, but I never really stopped. Never looked open, so I didn't know if it was actually something there or if it was just a tourist trap where people stopped by and it had a bunch of quirky, weird stuff. But Tyson was so psyched about us stopping there and checking it out that we were like, all right, let's do it.
Hey, this is Johnny Meyer here, and this is my tourist attraction. It's called the Classical Gas Museum. I have 4.8 stars on TripAdvisor, and I'm located on the main road here between Santa Fe and Taos. So I get visitors here from all over the world that love this Americana stuff.
Johnny's place is super unique. I remember seeing that kind of like shack of his, close to 20 years ago, and started off with like 1 or 2 pumps, and then 3 or 4 pumps and an old hot rod and some old neon signs, and a bunch of old signs started picking up.
I built this place about 20 years ago just for fun, just to entertain myself, sort of my playhouse. But then it's evolved. People started stopping by and kind of really enjoying themselves here. So I decided to do this as you see it here, kind of really expand it, make it a spectacle. I built this building behind here to resemble an old gas station, using pictures of old gas station for reference to try to make it look really old. It's grown over the last 20 years. I have a reputation now. People bring me stuff and give me tips, give me leads on where to find interesting stuff. And to me, besides the American history and American culture that you see here, I really respond to the art of it. These gas pumps to me are like sculpture, pieces of art sculpture. And the graphics on a lot of the signs and oil cans and such represent a golden age, really, of graphic art design. And I have a lot of graphic art folks come here and just really geek out on how great the graphic arts are on these pieces.
We're going to meet Johnny. He's the guy that's been running this place forever.
Cool.
He's a character. So here we go.
All right.
What's up, Johnny?
Hey, welcome.
How you doing today, bud?
Another day in paradise.
This is Chris. This is my buddy Steve.
Hey, how's it going, man? Good to meet you.
Hey,
telling him about your spot.
Nice to meet you.
Welcome.
He's such a unique character. He's, there's all this like lore and mystique about Johnny up there. And, there's rumors of him working for the labs and him being a crazy engineer and this wild scientist. And you kind of see it on him,
So let me tell you what we got here. Over there is a bunch of rusty stuff. Over around the far side of the diner, another ½ acre of rusty stuff. And inside's the shiny restored stuff.
Nice.
Awesome.
So
Okay.
if you like, you can check out the shiny
Yeah,
stuff.
So we're just going to load up one of these real quick in the back of that truck, and we'll be on our way.
Good. You got 2 grand on you?
Have you?
This is Kristen's first time. She's actually new to New Mexico. She's only been here for about a year.
Yeah,
Yeah, so she's never seen this. Didn't even know about it.
Yeah.
So
Well, one of the interesting things here is that I provide a lot of props to movies and TV. So I do load up pumps and take them to movie sets
nice.
and
Very
TV
cool.
sets.
you probably donated some stuff to this guy. He's working in film forever.
Oh, yeah.
Hopefully he got it back to you in good shape.
I don't know. I don't know.
Knowing the movie and
Kind of falling off the truck. You know what I mean?
I usually deliver the stuff and retrieve the stuff to the sets.
Okay.
That's the way I kind of
Well, Tyson, you've been here a few times, so what's
Yeah,
the
handful.
plan, man? What are we gonna do?
The neon in this place is amazing.
Ooh.
You guys are going to be shocked on how much cool neon stuff is
Shiny
inside.
stuff.
Let's check it out.
The shiny stuff.
Oh, wow. Oh, that's cool.
These are some of the gas pumps here that I've restored for myself. This room I call my museum room. I don't sell anything out of this room.
Do you have any old Indian motorcycle stuff in here?
I have a few original Indian motor oil cans that are pretty rare.
Can we see those?
Yeah.
Please.
Follow me. So what we have here is 3 original Indian oil cans, all from different periods.
Do you know the periods in which these are from?
I can geek out and tell you sort of. And here's the
Geek
deal.
away.
Okay, let me see this one here.
Okay.
I can look at this seam here, which is called a solder seam. This here is called a crimped seam.
Okay.
Solder seams are the oldest. This one here is probably from the 40s,
Oh, wow.
and these two are both crimped seams, and they're probably from the 50s. These two
Okay.
right here.
Wow.
So that's
These are old.
yes.
Very old.
So what we have here is a pretty good representation of gas pumps through the ages here. Right here we have a couple of gas pumps that are 100 years old.
It was really interesting to hear his knowledge and his stories, and being a graphic designer and looking at some of this stuff from the the early 1900s all the way up until the 50s and 60s. It was amazing to see this stuff in the graphical elements that people just take for granted these days. There was so much detail and art in the Art Deco designs and the hand painted scripts in the logos. It's just this beautiful stuff, and to me, I just really loved seeing all of this stuff. It hit home, and I enjoyed it a lot.
And people will ask about the spinners inside these pumps starting in the 30s. What was that about? And the deal is, as a customer, you'd want to eyeball that very closely. You don't want to see bubbles going through there, because if you do, then you're paying for air instead of gasoline. If you start seeing bubbles move through here, man, you jump up and down and go yell at the gas station owner.
I want my 3 cents back.
Exactly. And look at the gas price here, 14 cents a gallon.
Oh my God.
What's kind of amazing is 4 cents is 40% tax.
Yeah.
But that's how the American highway system got built, is using that 40% tax.
Gas money.
Yes. Now today, people would just lose their minds over 40% tax.
Well, thank you, Johnny. We appreciate your time. It's
Yeah.
always a pleasure coming
Great
here.
meeting you. Thanks for taking your time.
I love to bring all my out-of-town guests here. This is my first stop always. And I've been picking for a long time, 20 plus years. That's how our business got started. And I've never seen quite the Honeypot as Johnny's spot up there in Taos. Like, that's probably the most vintage Americana and neon stuff I've ever seen in my life. And years ago when I first started collecting, I would try and buy an old gas pump and stuff, and the prices slowly started increasing as he became better with his craft, and as the stuff started getting more expensive and harder to find. And at this point, I don't even think I could even touch the most basic thing. But he's just one of those guys that, like, if he likes you, he'll sell you something. If he doesn't like you, it doesn't matter how much money you have and who you are. You could be the guys from American Pickers, and you're not stepping foot in there. We've kind of grown to like get to know each other over the years and stuff, and he's got such a cool collection. I think one day, he'll let me buy a couple pieces, but I'm definitely not walking out with the good stuff. So what do we got next, Steve?
This is your turn, man. Where are you taking us? Dennis Hopper?
Ready for some Dennis Hopper?
I'm so ready for that.
Yeah.
So
Easy
house
rider pilgrimage?
or what is a house, cemetery?
We're gonna go to where he was buried. I guess he really fell in love with New Mexico. I mean, why not? How could you not fall in love with this? You can't find this kind of stuff anywhere else in the world. So
Yeah,
We're going to see his gravesite, relive a little bit of Easy Rider. Steve could be, you know, he'll be the...
Do you want to hop on the back again?
I want to wear a helmet, a football helmet, and sit on back.
He'll be Jack
Do you want
Nicholson.
to hop
be
on the
Jack
back
Nicholson.
of his?
I'll be Jack
Maybe we should
Nicholson.
get some of that.
So yeah, this is also like one of my favorite rides through the canyon too. There's a real cool like overlook, and you're gonna see the Rio Grande to the left. It's real beautiful.
The gorge.
The gorge. Yeah, keep an eye on that as we're going through.
Okay.
And then as we get into Taos, we're gonna fork off to the right side.
Okay.
And that's where we kind of fork off going up to like US Hill and all that, and that's where the cemetery is on the left.
Cool. So you know exactly where
Yeah.
it's at. Okay.
All right, guys, you ready?
All right, let's do it.
All right, so hold over just so Chrissy could see probably one of the best views in the world. What do you think?
Agreed. And I love that you wanted to stop and show us the view.
Yeah.
Thank
This
you.
is how you know you're kind of made it to northern New Mexico
Yeah.
once you see this view. And it never gets old.
It doesn't. Look at that, just carves through.
So this is the view that I think brings everybody to New Mexico, the kind of typical, very untypical New Mexico landscape. Now if they could just come here and then go back home to where they're going, that would be great too. But
Tyson's getting a job with the New Mexico Tourism Department.
keep it small.
Look and leave.
Beautiful
Keep
and
it, yeah, keep it local. Look and leave, bail, and then leave some of your hard-earned money.
Still cannot get over the skies. The
Beautiful,
skies
right?
still just take my breath away.
I
Are we
love,
going to get a closer look?
totally.
Yeah?
Once
Yeah.
we drive over this thing, man.
We're going to drive over
You're
it?
gonna stop.
Sweet.
You can look over the edge. You can hang, do some pull-ups if you want.
Yeah, no.
All right, Dennis Hopper.
Dennis Hopper,
You're gonna see his gravesite, and then let's get Steve some lunch.
how did you
And-
know?
And Cristin.
How did you know?
Oh,
And Cristin.
Little hair of the dog is what
That's
Steve
right.
needs.
Might be a little hungover.
Oh wow.
So this is the place.
Wow.
No way.
Yeah, pretty wild,
The
right?
bananas, man.
Has his birthday at 36. Has his death date. Let's say 2000 or
2010.
10,
Oh, he died that long
5/29,
ago.
2010.
This is wild that he's buried here. I still can't get over that.
I mean, Steven knows more about the Hollywood industry people than I do.
I actually got to work with him on one of his last things. It was a little TV series called Crash for Epics, and he was one of the nicest guys ever. I don't really like to talk to, or try not to talk to the actors, you know, it's just kind of weird. We try and just let them do their thing. But he was one of those guys that enjoyed talking to the crew. Just a genuinely nice guy. And I think it's cool that he's got the motorcycle connection, you know, with us here in New Mexico, you know, Easy Rider, and he loved New Mexico from what everybody said. And it's interesting that he ended up here.
You know, I know he loved motorcycles. You can't, you know, every motorcyclist knows Easy Rider. You can't call yourself really a motorcycle rider if you haven't seen that film,
Seen that
right?
Sure.
Yep.
And I think that again is one of the things that like attracted a lot of people to New Mexico, is especially motorcycle riders, is just those long shots that they did and
Yeah.
at the hot springs and everything. Just
Totally cool.
Really 70s kind of vibe that really captured everything.
All right, so favorite Hopper movie?
Easy Rider, obviously.
Oh, yeah.
Easy Rider?
Yeah.
Easy
for
Rider?
sure.
Cool.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Apocalypse Now.
yeah.
I
of
think
course.
he's amazing in that. He's
He was
like
great.
he's all nuts, and he's just like this crazy like news guy that's like lost it. I think it's a great performance.
Yeah.
I've heard
Rebel.
really interesting stories, like he was really out of it
Yeah.
on drugs at
The whole
that time.
I mean, he lived life to the
Oh,
fullest.
totally.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
He was even like in Rebel Without a Cause with James Dean.
That's right.
You know, it was one of his
Yeah.
earliest things. He was a big,
How old was he when he was in that?
oh God, he had to be like in his teens.
Easy. Yeah,
You
yeah.
know?
Teens.
And played like that young greaser kind of guy. And he was also big into film, like in photography.
Yeah.
He wrote and like co-wrote and shot a lot of colors. That was his pet project too.
Really?
Yeah.
I didn't know
So
that.
he's a very like humanitarian kind of guy.
Very cool.
Which shows, I mean, I think he was very respectful of New Mexico and Taos. You know, he could have probably come
Culture.
out here and built a gigantic, elaborate, you know, gravesite, you know, overshadowing the people of New Mexico. And this is kind of like, again, this is what I love about, you know, northern New Mexico and Taos is like, this is it. You know, it's not flash and glitz and glam. Like, he wanted to be respectful of the people here, and it shows. You know, he's one of the people. You know?
Very cool.
It's awesome.
It is very
It's a good
cool.
stop.
So from here, we're going to get food for Steve, get him some lunch. Get
Nice.
some Italian food.
Yes.
Might have to make a pit stop after lunch, Steve.
No, we can go see Grandma first.
Drop off some
See
pan
Grandma
dulce for
first,
Grandma.
yeah.
Came off. Hopefully Dennis Hopper would have dug that. A little motorcycle pilgrimage up here. Grease rag, because I know he's a motorcyclist too. Yeah, so my grandma Anita, man, she is a character. I could tell you stories. We could write a book and a novel on her life. It's wild. She's a real firecracker. I think when we get up there, she's going to have something to say. She always has something to say. And you never know what's going to come out of her mouth. You know, it's pretty funny stuff.
You hang out with these guys?
I do. I ride bikes with these guys.
You're so lucky.
I am lucky. So we got to meet Tyson's grandma, which was hilarious. She is a character. That woman has stories upon stories upon stories. She could go on for hours. I've gotten a little bit of the stories from Tyson, but to meet her and to see her and just to see the vibrancy in that woman, I hope to see her again. I hope to spend time with her again, because she definitely has a life that is worth sharing.
You know, she grew up pretty poor. She came from like a Mexican family up in Fresno, and they're basically immigrants that were picking grapes up in Fresno. They're immigrant farm workers, and she quickly kind of found the outlaw lifestyle. She knew that working in the vineyards and stuff like that wasn't going to be for her. And, you know, she knew a bunch of old bikers, knew a bunch of like people from down south that kind of got her into some different businesses. And she always had all these wild stories about these outlaw motorcycle guys that she would hang out with.
I used to hang around at a garage in Santa Cruz with these guys. It's the best place to hang out.
With guys?
Yeah, with
it
guys.
really is.
Yeah, they have all kinds of...
You learn a lot.
Oh boy, yeah.
I learned so much from these guys.
They're greasy, which I like.
I remember as a kid, like, there was kind of a little bit of like mystique and lore about Anita, and she's just one of those people that like either you love her and hate her, and if you hate her, just, you know, be careful.
She is a character, and every time we go up there, stayed the night a couple of times, and she's got stories that would just like kind of embarrass the average person actually, but she's so funny, and she's got just this history of knowledge from different things that she was into when she was younger, from I can't even get into it. It's just hilarious stuff that most people would be pretty shocked that somebody her age would still remember and still be talking about. And I probably learned more about Tyson from his grandma than anybody else, and it's pretty funny.
All right, Grandma, we gotta go. You got your pan dulce?
Yeah, don't
Yeah,
forget it
Yeah, we
in
need
the
to get back
car.
home to Albuquerque too, though, because we gotta.
You don't have any kids?
I don't think I got the dogs.
Did you say I
got
don't
little-
think so? He almost said I don't think so.
I got little Cash. Cash dog. You guys are the same age.
Yeah, that's true. No, that's true. Cash and I are having a race. Who's gonna make it? Who's gonna live longer?
In dog years?
Well, I'm 90, you know.
You're 90?
Yes.
Yeah, so my old man, Gary, my dad, we've had a weird kind of relationship, not exactly like the father-son dynamic that you would expect. It's a weird family. It's a wild family. You know, you could write stories all day long. But my grandma loves to tell this story about how when I was a kid, one of my first things I got was a dirt bike. He got me on a dirt bike young. We had this neighbor who was a professional motocross racer, and he wanted to get me into it. And, you know, I got a little PW50 used, and he got me a helmet and some gear and stuff like that. And it's funny because I think, you know, my grandma, like being ultra poor, she saw that as like me being super rich and spoiled because I got a helmet and gloves. But I think that was just my old man's way of like making sure I didn't break my whole head off.
So when Gary bought him his first bike, he was like this. Gary set him up with helmets, all the gears, this part, this, you know, so he wouldn't get hurt.
Yeah.
And look at him now.
Nope.
Been riding
Still got
ever
hurt.
since.
Oh, you did?
All right, you be safe.
Not
You know how
by
to
a
get
bike,
in?
I bet you it was by a woman.
Probably. You know how to
Is
get
that
in?
why he's still single?
Probably.
Probably won't.
Oh, he's very choosy. He's going to have to find somebody like me that knows how to cook.
Oh shoot!
Yeah.
That is true.
Wow.
If they
He
don't,
can't even make a salad.
I know how to meal prep.
Okay,
I'm good.
we're gonna find Tyson a woman who knows how to cook.
now you know what Ty's grandma's all about, right?
The highlight for me was going over the Gorge Bridge. I've been there once before, but to see it through their eyes, to see it through somebody's eyes who grew up here, who this is New Mexico and Taos being their home, it was a different way, seeing it in a different way. It's massive. And so being able to see it from afar and then being able to go over the bridge and see it in its immensity, it was really cool on a bike. And that was as we were leaving town, so that was kind of how we wrapped up our trip in Taos. So we have spent 2 days solid on these bikes. Really grateful to Indian for lending us these bikes, allowing us to do this shoot on the bikes.
Wow, so what an incredible couple of days it's been. You know, we packed so much in with the Breaking Bad locations, and riding through Albuquerque on these Indians was amazing. You know, another day headed all the way up to Taos and making the loop through the gorge, just beautiful. New Mexico's amazing. It's just in a beautiful place, and it's always inspiring to see the culture and the people and all the beautiful scenery. And we couldn't have asked for a more perfect couple of days of riding. It was a little bit of rain, a little bit overcast, so it didn't get too hot being the middle of summer. It was just amazing. And, you know, good friends, great bikes, and beautiful scenery. How can you ask for anything more?